The picture opens with the classic Marvel opening of just some flickering comic book pages. Very slight. It's over very quickly. So much of this episode is going to be, you know, how everything sucks today and was better back then. Just from the opening. Now, you know, look at all our movies.
They still do that opening, don't they?
No, they play footage from all their fucking movies, and it goes on for 35 seconds. This is just comic books, and then that's it.
Oh.
And then Patrick Stewart narration.
And then straight to CGI credits that look nice.
The CGI credits look, okay, and they're over very quickly. But Patrick Stewart, mutation. It was the bond of our species.
It's the bond of species.
Every one of these movies opens with him doing the narration. Here's the thing about mutants.
You gotta call him sir. He earned his title.
Sorry, sir.
It's okay.
But they end very quickly and then always end on the vault locking on Cerebro. And then here's the thing he says.
It's not cerebral.
No, Cerebro.
Oopsies, because it's only for the men.
Imagine a lady named Cerebro.
No. It's only for the men. That's how I'll remember.
Gotcha.
Bro.
And he says, sharing the world is something humanity has never been humanity's defining attribute. Cool. Because later they're talking about Neanderthals in the museum, and you know, Neanderthals and humans used to exist on the world at the same time, but then humans were like, I don't think so. You know? I guess we didn't mention the writers of this movie. Michael Dougherty, Dan Harris, David Hayter are credited with the screenplay. Zach Penn has a story by credit. And what do you think of the music in this movie, of the score?
Well, I didn't notice it. So that usually means it was good, but not great.
It's by John Ottman, who's also an editor. He's the rare editor-musician combo. He often works with Bryan Singer.
Editor of what? Editor of film?
Of the movie, yeah.
Not of...
Like music by John Ottman, editing by John Ottman.
Yeah, that seems...
He won
excessive.
the Oscar for Best Editing for Bohemian Rhapsody, despite that, or maybe because of that viral video of how bad the editing in that movie is. Like there's a scene with them like meeting their manager and it cuts like 100 times.
And then he won?
He won, yes.
Because they felt so bad for him?
Maybe.
I think you just said because of it.
Well, I think that there is a sort of Oscar like reactionary, like, don't tell us what's good editing.
Okay.
Hipsters on the internet.
Got it. Don't tell us you had a slight seizure. You didn't. It was fine.
But the X-Men theme, I think it's fine. It's not iconic in the way that like the Batman or the Superman or even the Spider-Man themes are, but it gets the job
You're telling me there's a theme and you're absolutely right. I have nothing in my head from it. I'm still singing from our Overboard episode. That's all I've been singing for 5 days. We're in the waters now.
Annie.
Don't you throw those tools in there where his grandpa.
Nightcrawlers in the White House.
Okay, now good segue.
Yeah.
Here we are. I was pretty scared of this creature with this opening mutant. I was thinking, put those. They need to be in a jail. Those,
put them down.
That's scary. Well, he just seemed infinite in his ability to do stuff, and I was thinking, Magneto's been stacking his deck. This guy is good, and I guess he's replacing your lizard guy because this one's also got a tail.
Yep.
You needed another tail guy.
We had an opening for a tail guy.
We needed an overly make-upped man.
Nightcrawler, and we don't know what's going on with him, but he has invaded the White House, and this actually looks really good. The CGI of him disappearing and then reappearing, and he fights the guards in slow motion, and they have like really good wire work of the people just flipping in the air. I was
gonna say I'd be interested to see like what is the actor actually doing during this time, and what's not him. Handy to have all that makeup for. It's Alan Cummings. What if he has vertigo? We don't know.
It is a good mixture of CGI with just classic put people on a wire and yank them real fast.
Yank.
And well, I should say first we have a tour guide introducing the quote from Lincoln's first inaugural: "We are not enemies but friends. We must not be enemies." And again, this is very blunt. The politics in this movie are very like on the sleeve and broad, but they're so much more effective than anything movies do today. Just by having that simple quote, Lincoln announcing to the Confederacy, like, we don't have to have this war. We're friends. And it's also what's going on in this movie. This is a cool sequence. The guards managed to prevent him from assassinating the president with a knife that says "Mutant Freedom Now." And then we check in with old Logan, aka Wolverine, who is in.
Knowing the plot and what actually happened here, it now explains the very. It's clearly someone faking a war that would write something so.
Yeah.
So hack. Mutant freedom now. It's like, this is what they'd say to people and stab them with it.
Sure. Yes. It's
Spoiler.
like. It's like if Dick Cheney doctored the 9/11 footage to put on the planes, like
Pow,
Iraq,
pow, pow.
like,
No.
love Saddam.
Right. We love him so much.
So
Our oil is mine. It's ours.
it's my precious oily.
This part of the movie is so like not important to me, where Wolverine's like looking around. Well, maybe because it's snow. As soon as
You
there's
hate
snow,
snow.
I check out.
You hate snow.
But it's just Wolverine's not with his pack. But I forgot that at the end of the first movie, the Professor X, all right, tells him the coordinates of something, and he just checks out the coordinates, goes, that's not what I thought, and he walks away.
'Cause
He's there for 10 minutes.
Because of his power, he can regenerate. He doesn't know how old he is. He doesn't have any
Right.
memories before a certain period of time, kind of an overboard situation. And Professor X says, maybe go up here. And he
Poke
does.
around.
I love Hugh Jackman in this movie and in these movies. I think in this movie, he doesn't have that clearly defined an arc. Like, it's just
Sure.
kind of like, what's the deal with my past? Maybe it's this.
He's
Ugh.
truly like a side character in this, because I really think they let the old men shine in this one.
I think he's very much the lead. He just doesn't have a traditional like hero's journey to go on, because I feel like his hero's journey from the first movie of I don't fit in anywhere, maybe I fit in here, is like complete. And now he's like, well, I like my new mutant family and I will protect them.
Well, but he does still seem very distracted by figuring out what's going on. And then when he gets really close to the closest he ever gets, when he realizes he recognizes and knows this doctor, he does put the kids in danger, and
Yeah.
at least himself in danger. And it's Dr. Gray's whole thing with him. And it kind of makes you think, oh, she'd be into him if she thought he'd stick around. And yeah, so it's. The whole movie's alluding to, like, is he going to stay? He just walks away. I don't know. He's always by himself. He's going to come back.
But and
He's a pack animal.
because Hugh Jackman plays him so likably, you're like, of course you're not going to abandon the kids just to chase you,
Right.
just to find yourself.
Oh, I got you. So if there is an arc, we didn't buy in. It's like, oh, come on. You're just looking at
Right.
guys. You're fine. All right. So the first time we see the school kids again, the academy squad, if you will, they're on a field trip, kind of risky. The only thing that bothers me about the school in general is that it's every age kid, and they all seem to be at the same classes all the time, the same field trips all the time, and it just feels like, I know you're all mutants, but that doesn't mean you're all nice kids. You know what I'm saying? It just seems a little dangerous to be mixing them all together.
I liked when the movie ends with Xavier having like his class come into his office, and it's like this beautiful
40-year-old man,
and you're like, wait, what class is this?
it's just, oh, fucking professor's gonna tell us about his childhood again. Jesus Christ. And they didn't understand.
Tell us about some book.
Okay. So they're at the Natural History Museum, and it's fine. They're showing them around some stuff, and Dr. Gray is having a hard time ever since she has spent some time in Cerebro, and is like kind of seeing everything at once, and just feels like something terrible is going to happen. But then all of a sudden she kind of focuses, and she's like, the food court. And so cut smash to teens being teens, and something's up with the vibes of Pyro. Also his name's Pyro, so duh. But they're just farting around with some non-mutant kids and not being too shy about. They're not keeping their powers super secret, which is like, how could you? It's like the coolest thing about you. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you wouldn't be constantly trying to let them show. It just seems like a big risk to take the entirety of the school, everyone's identity, everyone who's not out as a mutant, but then attach it to these other kids who are being less responsible with their powers. You kind of end up telling everybody's business by showing off that you're in a mutant school. You know what I'm saying?
It's what sucks about being a mutant is like, or at least for Professor Xavier, he's like, we have to be the best of the best of the best. We turn the other cheek. When some normal humans are being a dick to you, you might be tempted to light them on fire. Don't do it. Don't do it. But you also see why.
Which is why this school needs a sorting hat. And then Pyro would have clearly gone to Magneto.
Yes.
And like, don't like the system. You don't want to be a good boy. You want to be a bad boy. Gryffindor.
You put them all in one place, you can surveil them to keep up with what's going on. If you're like, Pyro's off with Rogue, she's a good girl. Nothing bad's going to happen.
She goes rogue. Anyway, so hijinks happens and Pyro gets himself into a situation that's not cool. So for the first time, we get to see that Professor Xavier can freeze all people except the people he wants. I guess because he's so connected to every single being.
Yeah.
That seems exhausting. No wonder he's always in a chair. Tired.
I will never not be impressed in a movie whenever a crowd of extras just stops moving.
I know.
It's always effective in a bunch of M. Night Shyamalan movies. It happens in these movies. Probably happens in another movie too.
But how shitty to be the one person who has to sneeze and you're like, I'm sorry. I know I'm getting $30 today. I ruined this $1 million shot.
Yeah. Yeah. If I
That's
were
what editing's for.
I guess if I were smarter, I'd have looked into like, wait a minute, they're not actually standing still. This is in the edit, right?
Yeah, I can't tell. And I'm looking.
I'm looking with my fine-tooth comb.
And here comes, I noticed the Logan connection here. Logan.
Logan Roy, fuck off.
Logan is Wolverine.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
I want you to play with me with this one, Matt. God, I just want you to go, oh my God. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
but anyway,
let's do it again. Let's do it again. What's his name?
Anyway, Logan can never not.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, I mean, this actor who I don't know his name, but I love him from Succession.
Brian Cox.
Of course he is. He just can't. With that voice, you can't be a nice sweetie. You just can't. This man's up to something immediately. I just assume he's driven by a kind of a trope in these things, which is that, something dangerous, I'm going to make it into a military weapon. So that's what I think his deal is when he's talking to the president and stuff. I think he's speaking on behalf of the military industrial complex. I don't know his larger beef with the mutants, but
you can tell he has one. He's been like,
absolutely.
Even before this has been my whole life's mission. Every time I talk to anyone in power, they're like, let me guess, Stryker, you're upset about mutants.
And finally, something happens enough to scare the president that he's ready to strike, if you will. And I don't remember his actual goal to go in there. I feel like he just kind of got lucky.
To go in to see the president?
Yeah, like, did he get some information in that moment? No, I'm sorry, I'm mixing it up. Like, I guess he already knew what he was going to do, which was go see Magneto in his plastic prison and get information from him. I don't fucking remember.
So Magneto told him where Xavier's school is. So now he's going to the president and he's like, you were just attacked by a mutant.
You already knew that.
Here, I know about this place, this weird mutant school where they train Hamas fighters. I'm sorry, I mean mutants. Can I go in and maybe
kill a couple people?
And the president's like, okay, fine, but listen, William, don't you do any violence, mister. And he's
not
like,
to any civilians, you hear?
I sure won't, Mr. President. I sure won't. This is the most obvious thing in the world, but this is 2003. This is obviously a Dick Cheney figure. He's like, my whole life I've wanted to invade Iraq. A thing happened. Time to invade Iraq. And nobody else wants to do it, but here's my moment. I've been waiting forever for this to happen. Although in this case, he literally made it happen. But the Senator Kelly has been Mystique this whole time since the last movie. And the good thing about this is a good sequel idea of the enemy from the previous movie now seems like, well, you're not so bad in comparison to how much of a threat the new guy is, because now Mystique representing the Magneto interests is kind of seems like a moderate now.
Right. Like she's trying to keep things temperate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this all worked out. It could have been much worse. But she also probably, while her guy who she's so attached to, her main mutant, is in captivity, that's not when you want things to get really bad, because then they're going to get really bad for your mentor.
Yep,
just your mutantor.
Just keep things steady for now. Brian Cox has the amazing line to Senator
Is it amazing?
Kelly. Yes.
It's fucking gross. Why are they doing that at Woodstock?
Don't lecture me about war, Senator Kelly. I was piloting Black Op missions in the jungles of North Vietnam while you're sucking your mama's teeth. At Woodstock. Good.
You don't nurse a baby at Woodstock, man.
Colonel Stryker leaves, and then we stand on Senator Kelly, and then the eyes turn Mystique for a minute just for our benefit, the audience. Remember, this is Mystique.
I thought he was going to turn into a jellyfish. Because that's his whole thing last time, right? Like, but I'm now a thing.
But that's the real Senator Kelly, who is now dead, is the one who turned into the jellyfish in the last movie.
Right. Oh, right. He turned into water. Yeah.
And the Mystique thing, on our episode from 2018, we're like, okay, if you can turn into anybody, just turn into the president and launch nukes or something. Or how about instead of this cuck senator, turn into the president instead?
Fine, but it's harder to keep tabs on the president when you're just one person. You're just Mystique. You can look like him. That doesn't mean you can pull it off. With the guy that's dead, at least she knows she can be him as long as she wants. Except for what about his fucking family? No, what about his family?
I guess she's living. She has to have dinner with his wife.
He has sex with his wife and kisses the grandchildren. Like what? Like keep seeing her dead husband on TV. Like why won't you come home? What?
That's the Disney Plus series we need.
Okay,
is Mystique having to be this guy?
That poor widow. She's gonna have to mourn him twice.
I know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Plastic prison is now where we are. We got to look at the plastic prison before and the last one, and now we get to really get into this. Clear furniture was a big deal during 2003, so I'm sure the teens were like, yes.
We got to go back,
This
folks.
looks great.
I want everything to look like this.
This is how you want it. Our house would be so full of shit stains if there's just smears of shit. If this is how clear and perfect our house
I take it back. Then you're right.
Just poop everywhere.
I just read Stephen King's Under the Dome, and a thing that happens in the book
dome
is that the dome starts getting smeared. Like it looks like shit now. Yeah, I guess we already talked about how Magneto has under torture given Stryker information.
That's why I thought you did that out of order. But okay. Anyway, yeah, he gets the information he wants. He did not feel good telling him that. Like, he seems sad. I can't think of another instance. I know there are some where just your super uber scary villain guy he's chill. He can play nice. He can align his interests, but you never know. Is there real love in his heart, or is there just a lot of anger, and he'll make alliances where he needs to really just kind of see through his original plan. You don't know where his actual loyalties are. He does keep calling Dr. Xavier old friend, which I found nice, but can you really be friends with somebody who's that what's the word I'm looking for? Vengeance-y?
Well, it's like we were friends for so long. I will always love you. But what's great about Magneto is he is actually ideological in a way that villains in comic book movies usually aren't. They say that they're, Bane in The Dark Knight Rises
like
says
Thanos.
Thanos kind of is ideological.
That's what I'm
too.
saying.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the only one else I can think of that will do the horrible thing that's going to hurt so many because he's trying to think more logically about the bigger picture.
But they'll usually start off by saying, here's what I want and what I believe in, and then reveal it's actually just because I want power.
Right.
But in Magneto's case, he actually is motivated to protect mutants and mutant supremacy. Right. Charles Xavier is a mutant, so no, my quarrel is not with you.
But I will kill other mutants.
If you get in my way.
And I will seek out your favorite mutants, and you only have 4. That's not nice. There are so many.
Yeah.
Why do you have to kill one of his 4?
Back at the mansion at the
boom, 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 boom. Back at the mansion.
Logan is riding in the back of a truck.
I need that on here.
And he arrives back home. Everyone greets Logan. We love you so much. Welcome back.
Rogue hears or smells him or something.
Yeah. She hears a motorcycle rev.
Oh.
Logan's back. Oh, hey, let's say this about Anna Paquin real quick. On our last episode, we said, I think she's from Louisiana or Mississippi. We were close. She's from New Zealand.
Oh my God. That's her American accent? Or she just finds it easier to do Southern?
Now, I think she grew up, she has lived most of her life in America, but she was in The Piano.
She was in a piano.
In the movie The Piano as a kid, and she won an Oscar. It's a great performance in 1993, playing a little New Zealand girl. And
when are you going to explain to me her accent? Why?
And then she moved to America, and I think she's lived there the rest. I don't know.
Thank you. America's big.
Okay, wait. I think that British people and Australian Commonwealth countries find it easier to do Southern accents.
That is what I said. You could have just said yes.
Sorry. Let's do it again. Okay, ask me.
Nope.
Yes.
No backsies.
Logan goes to visit Xavier in Cerebro. They have a nice little conversation, and Logan's like, please just read my mind. Just tell me what's up with my past. And he's like, you need to find the answers for yourself. Sorry. I love that. I think these two actors have a lot of chemistry, Jackman and Stewart. It's why 2017 movie Logan is so good. It's them in their old age, and Professor X has dementia, and he like can't control his mind powers anymore. And it's just the two of them like on the road in America. You might like that movie.
Okay. I like both guys.
Mystique has disguised herself as Colonel Stryker's assistant, Yoriko Oyama, a.k.a. Lady Deathstrike, although we don't find that out till later. And she's played by Kelly Hu. When this movie came out, this character was much hyped in the marketing, and I remember being a little let down at the end of the movie.
Yeah. She doesn't get to do there's one scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were like, wait till you see Wolverine finally meets his match. But their final confrontation is probably 3 minutes long. And Wolverine just injects her with some adamantium. And that's that. But it's okay. Mystique disguises herself as her to go infiltrate Stryker's office, finds out some stuff that she needs. Like, here's how I can get in to see Magneto. Because she wants to break him out of prison. And then in the meantime, and as I made all these notes, I realized like how much this movie is setting up, how many new characters it's introducing, how many new plots it's introducing. But I think it does a really good job of juggling all of this. It doesn't feel exhausting. You get everybody right away. But Nightcrawler, what's his deal? Well,
he's confused. I mean, he's got a lot going on with him. So I was a little bit confused as to like what things are things he was born with. What are things the circus did to him? What are things that he did himself? Because the little tattoos all over his body, they're just like little engravings. He did those. But he's got hooves and claws. Did he do that? He's got pointed, beautiful teeth, but they're all pointed like an animal. Were those filed? Did the circus do that? Was he born this way? He's beyond mutant. I mean, he's some sort of other.
He has both the teleporting powers, but also, he's a
creature,
biological anomaly. I don't know if he was born. I always assumed he was born blue and with a tail and with the claws. But Storm and Jean Grey go to track him down and say, why'd you do that to the president? And then he says, I didn't mean to. I was being controlled. I don't know by whom. So very interesting. And I realized,
put him on a plane? Like, Jesus. I mean, he would have had to go to a different country to do that to the president.
No, he's in America.
That's America?
Yeah, it's just a church. It's in Boston.
Oh, well, him speaking that different dialect and with the accent, I thought they traveled. They were on a jet. I don't know. He
himself is from the Munich circus. He is German.
Oh, okay.
But now he lives in America, where all the good people live.
Fine.
I realize this is a GoldenEye reunion between Famke Janssen and Alan Cumming. Although, wait, if you're listening to this, tell me if they actually share a scene together in that movie. I don't remember. The other thing is, Storm, Halle Berry, was very front and center in the marketing, because Halle Berry had won an Oscar between X-Men 1 and X-Men 2.
Okay.
But it's not like they actually bumped her role in the movie up. I'm sure Halle Berry telling Bryan Singer to kiss her black ass had nothing to do with how little she has to do in the movies.
I mean, but do you really feel like she gets less than Rogue? Like, I mean, they just aren't the supporting ladies. Dr. Grey is.
It's true. It's true. And it's hard. I mean, that's why X-Men works as a TV show, because it's really an ensemble, and Wolverine will get an episode and Jean Grey will get an episode and Storm will get an episode. But in the movies, it's obviously Wolverine's just your real hero.
So whatever love interest or love triangle and then backstory thing he's trying to figure out is just going to get more time.
Mm-hmm. But they still find nice moments for her, and I think she and Alan Cumming have some good little moments together.
Yeah, they definitely feel like they're setting up something for them that I'm not sure what it'll be, but I don't know that it paid off in this. I mean, there was trust there. She had him teleport her. At the end, that might just be it.
That's really it, but that's nice. It's like a nice little, just because they have that conversation earlier in the movie, like, you're so angry, and she says, well, sometimes anger keeps you alive, and he says, well, so does faith,
right?
And then later, blah blah blah. Storm and Jean are off doing that. Professor X and Cyclops are off to visit Magneto. So Logan, you'll babysit the children at the school. Okay. And I like him just kind of wandering around at night eating ice cream.
Yeah.
And he has a little conversation with Iceman. played by Sean Ashmore. At the time, 2003, I was very excited because this guy played Jake in the Animorphs Nickelodeon television series. It was like, he's in a movie. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't place him. He's cute. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. But then Stryker's guys come into the school and immediately start being violent and shooting at things. And I really like, this is Wolverine. This is what's great about him is, unlike other superheroes, his power is he can just fight you one-on-one. So it's always personal, hand-to-hand combat for him. And it's always best when he's like protecting the school, protecting a house.
Yeah. He's brute force guy.
The underdog against like an invading force. They come in, they get all the students, and Wolverine escapes with Rogue Iceman and Pyro. Although not before.
You do really see how small the school is with this scene. I mean, maybe it's just a budget thing, but I mean, you know, there's like 12 kids that escape, 6 that are kidnapped, and 3 that go with. There's just not that many. Yeah,
and there are so many X-Men characters, and they like are trying to like have them make little cameos, like the Banshee and
the
stuff.
The guy with the reflective skin. What is that one?
Colossus, I believe.
Colossus. His thing is cool.
But that's all that you're going to get.
But he's basically just Wolverine inside out. I'm metal.
I guess. I'm metal on the outside. But if they were trying to really service everyone, that's another thing that's good about this movie. If they were trying to service and make sure that the fans were happy because they got to spend enough time with all their faves, this movie would be way worse.
Oh, for sure.
It's focused. Wolverine escapes, but not before being tempted by Stryker's offer. Come with me and I'll teach you about yourself.
Well, I mean, very importantly, they see each other for the first time in 15 years, and he sees something familiar and feels something familiar for the first time, or gets a hope that he could figure something out. So it almost puts the kids in danger that he's so attracted to this, but he's our good guy, and he goes in a tunnel. I love tunnels.
I love the tunnels
love
too.
An escape.
And I love what they say to him. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Go. Or go. I'll be fine. I can take care of myself. And they say, but we can't.
Right.
We need you, Father.
Yep.
So,
what are you showing me? Oh my God, that's so sweet. They both have bowler hats and they read books together.
I just put up on screen a bunch of pictures of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, who are, of course, are real life best friends.
Look at their little faces.
They have lots of cute pictures.
I can't take it.
Ian McKellen was the officiant at Patrick Stewart's wedding.
Did they marry each other?
No, but there are pictures of them kissing each other.
That's sweet.
Ian McKellen is gay. Patrick Stewart is not.
Okay.
But yeah, they became best friends after they worked. They knew each other already, but they became close on the set of X-Men because they're like, there's a lot of downtime on a movie like this, so we just sat in the trailer.
Look how sweet.
Drank
I can't
tea.
take it. You should have warned me.
Sorry.
This is how people must feel when they see like a kitten.
Yes. Lacey likes when actors are friends.
I love it. I love it so much. Are they at medieval times?
Yes. Or Burger King. Xavier goes to visit Magneto Eric in prison. This is just kind of an exposition dump. He's like, hey, you remember how Colonel Stryker's son, Jason, is a mutant? You tried to help him, you failed him, and now you feel like if you help Logan, Wolverine, that you'll be redeemed. Is that what you feel? And he's like, yeah, I guess so.
I do think that. Yes, thank you.
It's handy that you just explained that for everybody. But Xavier and Cyclops get captured by Stryker's men right there.
And then I'm thinking, now what are they going to do? He's got all this stuff. Oh, no. And then that's when I really feel for the first time the smallness of the team, because their men are gone and the ladies are in a jet.
They can't talk to each other. They can't get the cell phone to work.
No one's told the wolf about the thing for when you talk on it.
The phone.
Yeah, and he figures it out though, but he can't. Bad reception. But why is this?
Because they're in their getaway car.
How dare you make me sing this song?
Pyro's like, I don't like uncomfortable silences. So he turns on the radio. It's NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. And all 4 of the actors groan in unison. In 2003, I thought this was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in a movie. I threw cabbages at the screen, but in honor. They're heading for Boston, and that's where
Pyro, the actor that does Pyro, does a good job of making you feel uncomfortable with him the whole time. The whole time something is brewing, and I'm just like, get your hair out of your face. What are you hiding? Why are you so angsty?
Are those black fingernails?
Oh, you hate NSYNC or whoever sang that. And then did Heidi Klum like, nope, Jessica remains famous.
Rebecca Romijn.
Did she like insist that she get to show her real self in a scene? I mean, I would too.
Oh yes, like
she's a fucking model. Can I not be covered in bullshit and you just look at my tits the whole time?
Or more than that, hey, I can work for a few days without having to endure 8 hours of body paint.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, just show her as a real person, right? Models already have that issue of not being treated or looked at. They look like creatures. They're to be gawked at. And I mean, the rest of the movie, she's basically naked. So
yeah, she is on a mission to she finds out who one of Magneto's prison guards is, and she meets him in a bar, and he's like, "Hey, sexy, wanna fuck in the toilet?" And he's like, "I guess I do. Hold on, let me drink this beer." But she puts some drugs in his beer, and then then he passes out in the bathroom stall, and she injects him. What did she inject him with? We'll find out.
It looked like
soon.
It looked like metal. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you know it was metal?
Yeah, no, I said that.
You did?
Yeah, I said it to you.
Oh, I didn't
when
listen.
it happened.
I didn't listen.
I thought she was turning him into a metal mutant. I didn't know what she was doing.
Okay, well, when he does escape though, in a few scenes, did you think it was cool?
When he escapes?
When Magneto escapes using...
Yeah, I did have a little bit of a hard time believing that much metal was in that man. I did like the idea of someone dying from shit being, I don't know, just
burst
forcibly,
out of them. Yes, it's so
a reverse,
awesome.
A reverse buckshot, or whatever. It seems painful. It doesn't seem like that man deserved that. I will say that.
They don't tell you this, but he's actually a member of the Ku Klux
Stringer.
Klan.
Oh,
Actually in the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay, that helps.
That's in the script, but it didn't make it.
Yeah, that helps.
So, and then meanwhile, Xavier is a prisoner of Colonel Stryker, blah, blah, blah. He talks to him. You had my son. You were supposed to cure my son. And Xavier's like, there's nothing to cure. It's not a disease. They're sort of laying the seeds for the next movie when the cure for mutation is a big plot point. That's a big plot in the comics and the
that definitely feels
TV show.
That's still applicable to autism and and obviously to gay conversion camps
and transgender
yeah.
I thought about autism too.
It's another thing that you can choose to hide. Certain people can. You know, you can. Not everybody who has it feels like super confident telling their employer about it. You do end up getting treated different.
Mm-hmm. And even expanding it more. That's why the X-Men are such a good metaphor. For deaf people, like cochlear implants are controversial.
Right.
The idea that there's a right way to be, and we can make you that way.
Right.
But what's also good about X-Men is that good guys like Rogue seem like I kind of would like to take that cure. It meant like I could touch people.
Right, because maybe sometimes the powers are such a burden that it's up to the person to decide, is this how I want to live, or, you know.
They go to Bobby Iceman's house and his parents and his villainous brother Robbie.
And not since Pyro have I been so uncomfortable. I'm like, what is up with this fucking kid? What is his goddamn problem?
Yeah.
I don't know if we get any Ronnie backstory or more further, but Bobby's got to be traumatized.
He's also in the Klan.
Life sucks. Bobby's family sucks.
I like when they walk in and Wolverine's just in their kitchen having a beer, and they're like, who the hell are you? And he just kind of stammers and doesn't know what to say.
Right.
And then he points at their son. He's like, who? And
art teacher. That is what your brother would do. Art teacher.
What are you a professor of? Art. Bobby's parents don't know that he's a mutant. They think he's at a school for math or something. And he tells them I'm a mutant. They're like, oh, have you tried not being a mutant?
Right.
Very funny line. And I like that the way they're talking. Okay, look, it's a lot to take in. You know, there's this whole mutant problem. And Wolverine's like, what do you mean mutant problem?
Right.
Just you see these little insidious ways people talk.
Right.
The cops come because the shitty little Ronnie called the cops because he hates his brother for being a mutant. And
but he like hates him right away.
Yeah,
it's like that's what I'm saying. There's some built up feelings already. Like maybe he doesn't like that he gets to go to some special school. He's some special boy. Why is he so great? And then he comes home and it's like, oh, now this.
Things were going good and now you're back. No, I'm not going to let this go on even 1 second longer.
I don't know. There's some extra shit there. This is a nice shot of Hugh Jackman's ass the whole time, though. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I did shoot it. The cops come and immediately start shooting. Like there's no actual threat, but they immediately shoot Wolverine.
We won't put down the knives.
Yes, but that's not a reason to shoot him. They're like a safe distance away.
But he won't put down the knives. And he's got really scary hair.
Yeah, that's true. He looks a little unkempt.
No, he chose to have that hairstyle. It's wild. It's a double pompadour. Who does this?
It was their solution to, because they're not going to put his mask on from the comics with the
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Pyro's like, hey, these cops just shot at us for no reason. I'm going to go a little
Rogue.
And start shooting them with fire. And again, you understand it. You understand why he would do this. It's you can't just keep your head down and do what they say because they'll still shoot you.
Right.
He starts shooting them with fire, and then Rogue touches him and absorbs his powers, controls the fire. Then Jean Grey and Storm show up, and they all
get in a
leave.
jet. And that's when Magneto really delivers the line that changes Pyro's life, which is, you are a god amongst men and don't let anyone tell you any different. Or god amongst insects.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got goosebumps. Like, that's so nice for him to tell him that. No one's ever told him that.
For me, the same scene, it's my favorite scene in the movie. Yeah. He says, so what's your name? John. What's your real name,
right.
John?
I know, I got goosebumps again.
I almost teared up when I saw this a few years ago.
I know.
As states in the United States are making laws saying teachers can't call kids anything other than their birth names. The idea that the bad guy of the movie is making this declarative statement, your real name is not your birth name. Your real name is the name that you choose for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So they all meet up, Magneto and Mystique and the other remaining X-Men. I don't know how they find each other, but they do. And they have a nice little campfire and talk things out and decide, you know what? We need to be X-Men United. That's the subtitle of this movie. So let's do it.
I just see X-Men Untied. I don't know how not to see Untied when I say United.
Now the stakes for the rest of the movie are, we got to go rescue the Professor. We got to rescue Cyclops. We got to stop Stryker. Pretty clear stakes, pretty clear motive.
What we do from there, I don't know. Because you're still an enemy, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out after that. Nightcrawler's been in Stryker's base before, so Jean Grey can look into his mind and find out where he is. He's at Alkali Lake, and Wolverine's like, Alkali Lake, I was just there. And they're like, did you look around? Did you see any secret bases? Like, no. Like, did you look hard? No.
Well, then Jean's kind of a dick. She's like, it's underground.
I didn't have a shovel.
And then his little tail goes up his asshole, and he goes, woo.
Yeah.
Because he's a dog.
There's a good moment with Mystique and Nightcrawler. He's like, if you can change your appearance, why don't you just make yourself look normal? And she says, I shouldn't have to. Tell me about this secret facility. What are they doing there?
Well, they seem to be I was a little confused on who's mutants, who's not, but Stryker seems to be extracting some liquid from his own son's head that is a mind control substance that he got to use to specifically keep mutants controlled often. Most of the time. Mm-hmm. So we know that there's one. We know that the Wolverine lady that Stryker clearly created because it's his signature all metal and extracty spike things. So is he only controlling his own mutants? Also, this lady must have already been a mutant, right? Because she's got something that helps her take on this stuff. So I guess she's regenerative too. Right. Yeah. That's why he had to drown her. Regenerate that, bitch.
Right.
I just expected there to be a lot of mutants who wake up all of a sudden because they're not being mind controlled anymore or something like that. That didn't happen.
There's only a few, but he has his son who has the mind control powers, and he somehow harnessed it via injectable stuff, but he's also going to be able to use him. He's built his own Cerebro. He's going to use him to control Charles Xavier to use Cerebro.
But he's clearly torturing the fuck out of his son, who's not his son to him anymore, because the son's not being physically controlled by his dad to do the work he's trying to get him to do, which is identify all the mutants and kill them. That's the instruction. Because once he is finally defeated by Storm, who makes it too cold for him to keep doing what he's doing, the little girl that he's projecting into the mind of Dr. Xavier goes, my dad's going to be so mad at me. And it's so sad.
Yeah.
Because that poor mutant man isn't doing what he wants to.
That's what's
sick.
Driving him. Yes. I also just like the way they dramatize that at root, he's like, I don't want to upset my dad.
He doesn't. No, you're sure he doesn't want to, but like he's being so abused, not because he loves his dad.
No, I know it's not out of love.
Okay, just I mean,
It's
like
fear.
he's got scars on him. He's in a hospital gown. He's slumped over. I mean, it's truly sick. It reminds me of that scene from Seven where the serial killer was keeping that guy so slowly killing him with drugs. Maybe I can't remember, or emaciating him and starving him that he was still alive, but he looked dead. You know, I can't remember what sin that was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But anyway, it's just like he's just a shell. He's just functioning and he's just producing fluids.
The other thing, they're going to use Cerebro to find every mutant in the world. I like that the way they dramatize the mind control of Xavier is with the little girl in the visions. She's telling him what to do. It reminds me
that took me a while to understand what was happening there. Sorry.
It reminds me of Inception, where the way you incept an idea into somebody's to get them to do something that you want them to do. So you go into their dream and you make them do something else that causes them to want or to do something in the waking life. So well said by me.
Well, and it also reminded me of Us, right? Where there's a gross, crappy version of the same setup as there is on the up, right? We just have to lead him through his pretty upward life to do the bad thing on the replica.
So, there's the threat he's going to kill all the mutants in the world, but the actual practical stakes of the rest of this movie are just, we need to rescue our friends and rescue the kids. And again, you compare it to the MCU where every movie's
world.
A portal's going to destroy the universe unless we put the thing in the thing.
I mean, they were about to wipe out like a quarter of the United States, of the fucking population of all the mutants. I mean, that was pretty bad stakes.
But that's only for like a minute.
But that sound, it hurts my head.
Yeah. We get the fight with Lady Deathstrike, the female Wolverine.
Which, of course, her fucking claws have to come out of her fingernails. It's like, can they come out of her palm or like something?
Well, Colonel Stryker, he's a chauvinist.
Clearly.
She's a lady. She needs a bow in her hair and she needs long fingernails. I do like the reveal of her claws coming out. Hugh Jackman has a good holy shit.
Right.
He might be my favorite superhero performance because he's able to mix in the humor in a way that doesn't at all undermine the seriousness.
Right, like Deadpool, where it's all about the breaking the fourth wall.
But less extreme than that, just Robert Downey Jr.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's doing it right. Where Deadpool, it is that. It's all about the personality.
But Deadpool is comedy forward. Like Iron Man, you're supposed to take seriously, and yet Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is still mostly funny. I got you. Whereas I think Hugh Jackman has it just calibrated just right.
Right. The most realistic
to be funny, but you still take everything very seriously.
Right. Okay. I get you. You've calibrated me. All right, now they're in the dirty death machine.
Yeah. Magneto breaks in, stops him from killing all the mutants, and you're like, okay, good. Magneto's going to save the day, but Magneto's like, no.
Is that the scene you're looking at? No, it's not.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Instead of killing all the mutants, kill all the humans. But first he says you're still trying to play by their rules. You want to go, where they go low, you go high, but it's not working out for you, buddy. It's not. So kill all the humans. And again, you kind of see he has a point, at least based on what he's experienced.
He is staying true to his driving goal.
Wolverine goes and captures Brian Cox, and Brian Cox is like, hey man, you volunteered to become the Wolverine. That's what I remember. You were an animal then, you're an animal now. I just gave you claws.
That's a good line.
And it is sort of a good dramatic dilemma to find out about yourself. It's like, I don't remember who I used to be, but it sounds like I was a bad guy and I don't want to do that anymore, and I don't feel responsible for that, but maybe I still am. Mm-hmm. But once again, he tempts him like, let me go. Come with me. I'll tell you everything you need to know.
It's so futile, though. It's like, you got nothing, buddy. He ain't doing shit with you.
Playing the only card he can. And he always calls him Wolverine. And then Wolverine takes off his dog tag that says Wolverine and throws it at him. He's like, I don't need this anymore. I'm not Wolverine. I am
still confused where he got that name. Like, was he named by Stryker, or was he in the military and they name each other? Like, I still don't understand.
In the lore of this movie and the one before, Stryker gave him the name Wolverine and the dog tags. I think the later movies might have retconned that. And certainly he's still called Wolverine even after saying, I reject that title.
Another example of you showing that there's not any one right way to be a person on the spectrum, a person with a trans person or whatever. It's all about like, you get to decide what is and isn't you.
Right. You're right.
I'm right.
Magneto and Mystique escape, and they bring Pyro with them. He chooses to join them, I should say. But hey,
he's in a better place.
There's been a ticking clock
fit.
happening during this elaborate action sequence. Well, okay, wait, backing up. You said you liked that the first movie didn't have that much action. This movie has a lot more, and especially the last 45 minutes. I mean, what do you think of it in terms of...
Because it's all the same story, the same one place for action, that the action is happening in a linear way. And okay, they're in the dam. They're trying not to make the dam explode. Oh, now the dam's exploding. I'm tracking it. That matters.
Yeah.
I don't need separate battles happening in different places, all for different purposes, especially with the Avengers, where they all have to go get their one piece. Then there's 5 things
scattered across time in the universe.
Right.
Here they're in one location.
I still like that movie, but
I do too, but it's like here, each of them has a clear goal, clear obstacle, clear conflict, and they're all moving in the same direction toward the same thing. And the thing is just, we need to just escape. We're just trying to rescue ourselves and our family. And that's also the thing about the X-Men, is like, sometimes they save the world, but really they're just trying to protect themselves.
Well, and they're just trying to go back to their normal lives. They're trying to have normal lives. That's all they want. They just want to get to exist. They don't want a higher purpose or higher mission. If they have to use their powers to defend themselves, that's what they'll do. But they're willing to even not use them, to just let us be part of this world. We're not trying to make a new one. Trust us.
The dam burst. It's been the ticking clock because somebody futzed.
You can't put a dam in something and not have it do this.
They futzed with the knobs and like, oh, the water's coming now.
Stay away.
It finally bursts and all of our heroes climb onto the jet, but the jet's not taking off. So Jean Grey says, I'm getting out of this jet. I'm going to simultaneously hold the water back with my psychic powers and fix the jet with my psychic powers. James Marsden as Cyclops is like freaking out. He's in agony. Don't do this. Don't do this. He's really good right here.
He is.
And the jet takes off and she starts glowing red, and then the water takes her away. And then that's it. She's dead.
And Hugh Jackman and him are very sad, and they bro hug.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman comforts Cyclops. And then later it's nice that he tells him, because I forgot to ask you. I mean, do you like the Logan Jean thing?
It was such a staple that you expect there to be some sort of love situation. And of course you have to keep it. You have to keep the push and pull of it, so it can't work out right away. Every freaking franchise movie does this, where it's like, are they gonna get it? But it makes total sense too. He's never met anyone that knows him for who he really is and is still into him. And so there's only one. I don't know. He didn't click with Storm for whatever reason. It's totally believable there would be a love triangle in this very small group of adults.
It feels, to what you're saying, it feels more than just he's the male lead of the movie, so she's the female lead. They need to have a thing. The story is actually suggesting it should happen based on what you said. Like she knows him and
right. He's been searching for 15 years. He's been making money the way that he can. He's trying to hide what's going on with him. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't have money. He lives out of his car. And now all of a sudden he belongs to something important. And there's a doctor, and she is pretty,
an age appropriate,
and she likes me for how I am. Yeah. And it's the first person you see. Also, you kind of choked her out, so you kind of owe her one. And, because that's his first introduction to her, is trying to kill her.
It's also nice that he doesn't have there's never a romantic thing with Rogue.
Oh, thank God.
He's he's her protector, but he's like, he doesn't think of her that way.
Which is great. I hope that I am worried. I'm worried it's going to go there, but it doesn't. Good. I mean, because and people already suspect it and think it and make little comments, but they don't lean too much into it. So I do appreciate that.
I did realize this is almost literally Edward and Bella and Jacob, with Wolverine being Jacob, because Bella never ever considers Jacob. He just keeps pushing. He's like, I know you love me. Here, I'll kiss you real hard. And she's like, still don't love you, man. Mm-hmm. Still choose Edward. Still choose Cyclops. And then Wolverine graciously tells Cyclops, she chose you. She always loved you.
Yeah.
I give you some guff, but that's just because we're bros.
And you like the chick I like. What am I going to do? Yeah.
They go to the Oval Office to talk to the presidents, and they're like, Mr. President, I know you're about to order the execution of all the mutants, but maybe don't, because look at these files. We need to work together, they're saying. It's like when Obama was told, you need to hit the golf course, hit the links with Mitch McConnell, smoke a cigar with John Boehner. Can't we just come to some sort of understanding?
Is it that, Matt?
It is. It is that.
Okay.
Yes. And the movie ends with
to me, what that scene entails is that Professor Xavier is coming more toward the center. If the center is him and Magneto finally agreeing on a way to go forward, like, he's like, okay, I this isn't a threat, but it's a threat. Like, I mean, we're watching you. Like there are more of us than you realized, and we're trying to help. And here's your people trying to fuck things up. So now we know this dirty shit about you. We were trying to just be civil, and now we're letting you know we are prepared to fight.
You're right. And the way it's like, the things he says are like, we need to find a way to work together. But you're right. They're all there.
They're all in their fucking outfits.
All the X-Men in their costumes are there. Like, and Wolverine says, we're watching, bub.
Well, it's like there are cells everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that.
We are Legion.
Yeah. We can just activate that shit.
The movie ends with
an outline of a phoenix, which I didn't watch. I don't know any of the comics, and I don't know what's happening. So I would have just saw water.
I barely knew that she turns into the Phoenix because I wasn't that big into the TV show. But in 2003, the movie ends with Jean Grey's narration. She does the Professor X monologue from the first movie, and then see the outline of a bird thing under the water. And in 2003, when not every movie was just a tease for the next movie,
Easter egg, yeah.
It was like, holy fucking shit!
I saw something, man, in the water, man. Were you like that?
I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the movie ends. Very cool.
All right. Super cool.